Moshe came to, he's the first, all the Weisfishes in Yerushalayim, about 5,000 of them at least, maybe 50,000. They're all from him. There's enormous amounts of Yerushalmi families who come from Menachem Shadik. Menachem Shadik is a big rav, a Kadesh. He was considered between a auerbach and Danish. And
we're in Lita.
I think he came from Lithuania, and he came to Poland. No, but I think Lithuania. He came to Yerushalayim about 1860, 1870, and he had 5 sons, Gedolei Torah, and 5 sons, Gedolei Torah, mamash, and it's Mishon Lispara is called Yerushalmis. I mean, that's, you probably see many of his Einiklich every morning, and that was the Reb Nachum Shalika. So his son, I think his oldest son maybe was Reb David Baran. Baran is Ben Arav Nachum, and it's also a big family. Baran, there's a Rechov Baran in Shaarie, and that's all over the place. So that's the. And he was considered, as I said, he was considered one of the biggest murderer in Eretz Yisrael in his time, in the 30s, 40s. There's 2 mice that's totally out of character. First mice, by the way, is, I just saw it since I was reading it off, is that he, so it didn't work out for him with his Arbamin. Once he dropped, in between the block, he dropped the esrog. The esrog survived, he picked it up, but he felt that maybe there was a brochel levatol, a shash brochel levatol. I know what the shash brochel levatol is, and no one understood what the shash cheshbon was, because the we said you can take, yesterday we established, you don't have to take all the arbaminim together, you can take them one after the other. So what was the problem? I know what the problem was, but he had a problem with that. Shash brochel levatol, he was beside himself with grief, and it was terrible. He was beside himself. Anyway, there's a mice here. It says here that Betzalel Jolti, Rav Yerushalayim, he also used to live around Shaarie, and it says here that he came in on Chol Moed. He sees him sitting there in the Beis Medrash, crying beside himself. He was crying. It was the next year. He says, "What's the problem?" What's he? He's crying. He says, he told the Maisa that last year he dropped the esrog and he was chayshish of chash with brochel v'atola. No, again, no one could work it out. Anyway, he went and told him Shon Shvadran. So Shon Shvadran, because next year went on that day of Chol Moed, and he saw him again sitting crying in the Beis Medrash there because of this mice that happened. That's he already worked out what his style was. So the next mice is a similar mice. It says there was another Yid here in Shechaz Chaim told us Hershler. So from him was inspired all the Hershlers. That's about also full of Hershlers. He was also Alden Golden Moed. And before he died, he called in a minion. He wants to ask Mechila. He needs to ask Mechila from Radov Baram. Radov Baram was no longer alive. But he said he has to ask Mechila because he felt he was Pagel. He was Pagel. So anyway, one of the minion says he's not willing to join in the minion for the Mechila unless he tells him what happened. So but let's pray out to him what happened. And that's the mice I told yesterday. That he was standing there, he made the bracha of Antilas Lulav, he took the Lulav and he saw he didn't have the Arovas. So he ran home, lived just on the Chol Sheiches, came back, put the Arovas. And he made a bracha of Al Natilas Lulav. Again. And Reb Chaim Chodges comes, he says the Mishnah Berurah state that you don't make an Al Natilas Lulav, you make you make a bracha of Al Natilas Arova. Because you've taken the lulav already. There's no point in putting it in the lulav. Really, it should be on its own. So you can tell me that maybe some hiddur mitzvah with halom yesterday that maybe you put it back in the lulav. That's also chiddush. You put it back in the lulav. You don't just take it on its own. Apparently, put it back in the lulav, and he made onto his lulav. And Chaim Chod says, and Mishnah Berurah says, the kid said he was very upset. Yeah, it's Kenzai had a cheshbon, by the way. I don't know what the Meiser was, but he was very upset. And it's also, so here the Meiser goes, the Meiser goes, there's two points, this Meiser. It's, he was had charota, that he'd given, but there was no point in telling him David Baran. So it's probably not going to happen the next year. And what's the point telling me he did it wrong? There's nothing that's going to be gained by it. He's already made the bracha. What's the point of telling me? And Hayos, he told it him, and he caused him tsar. As we saw. So he needs that. So someone, there's the nephew of Shlomo Zalman, says here, he told Shlomo Zalman about this Meiser. And Shlomo also says, he says, you know how many times Chaim Todros made a minyan and asked Mechila about the minyan that he did this over and over and over again. So again, none of these. So here, the last thing that is a Pella, also from Rav Jolti, he says the Meiser, he was there when the Meiser happened, when Rav Chaim Todros was married to Rav David Baran, and Rav David Baran says, he said to Rav Tzalman, Kinira, I'm not gonna be moitzi shasi. I'm not gonna. Such a thing happens to me. He says, I don't feel that I'm gonna be moitzi shasi. He says, and he died that year. Those are the mice. Go and. I promise to tell you I'm trying to make good on my promise.
I'm sure it's a great question, but the question is, we take 4 species. And we say a bracha on the room of
No, I'm good.
So the question is,